This is Zenmart, showing you my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game series, starting on the NES and ending on the Super Nintendo. So we're going to go with the first one here, which was released in 1989. It was the first TMNT game released for any home console. Um, it was overhead view. You open up in the overhead view, and you would have to enter buildings or dungeons. And once you entered these buildings, the um, the camera view would change to a side-scrolling view, very much like Legend of Zelda 2 for the NES. This game was very difficult. A lot of people dislike this game, although there's a lot of critics. This game sold very well. It sold over 4 million copies, and it was released on DOS and on the Commodore 64. The DOS version has better graphics, but there was some programming mistakes. One particular level, there's a platform, and the platform is further apart than it is on the NES version, and it's impossible to jump across. So what you have to do is get a cheat to be able to do it and beat the game on the DOS version. Still, I actually beat this game as a kid, even though it was very difficult. It was a lot of trial and error. If you ever do decide to play this game, I would suggest you use the different turtles' weapons and abilities, constantly changing characters during the gameplay, because every turtle has a different ability because of their weapons, and certain weapons reach certain parts of the screen that others don't. So definitely switch turtles. Interesting concept, difficult game, but it was okay. It wasn't a great game, I wouldn't say, and it's not as terrible as some people say it was either. Now this game should have been the original game for the NES, and it's basically a remake of the arcade version that was out in 1989. So this was released in 1990 for the NES, and it's TMNT 2, the arcade game. Basically a side-scrolling beat 'em up, very much in the style of Double Dragon or River City Ransom, all those classic beat 'em up games of the 80s. Um, Very enjoyable game. They did add 2 extra levels. Stages 3 and stages 6 are not found in the actual arcade game. There, you can play the actual arcade game if you purchase TMNT 2 Battle Nexus for the PS2, Xbox Original, and GameCube. This game is also available on the Wii Virtual Console as well as the first one. So as you can see, the graphics are not quite as good as they are on the arcade version, but definitely a good game. They did the best to translate this game for the NES hardware. Now here we have the Manhattan Project, which was released in 1992 at the end of the NES life cycle. So there were far less of these produced than these two. So this game is a little bit more difficult to find, but it's basically a continuation of the part 2, the arcade game. Very similar. Not too many changes. It's just a new levels, obviously. But great game. I mean, just as good as this one. Although I have more fond memories of this one because this is what I played as a kid. I didn't buy this till much later, just to complete the set here. And here we have part 4, Turtles in Time. This was released in 1992 as well for the Super Nintendo. This has to be one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. There was also an arcade version of Turtles in Time, very similar to the Super Nintendo version. The only difference is that the arcade version obviously would play up to 4-player co-op, and this is up to 2 players. But this game is very excellent, very beautiful looking game. Very much a continuation of the part 2 and part 3 on the NES. Obviously, better graphics because of the Super Nintendo's hardware capabilities, and also they added a few extra moves to the Turtles' arsenal. But very enjoyable. I gotta say, this is one of my favorite series. And they one last thing I forgot to mention is there's also a TMNT Turtles in Time reshell remake for the Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. Definitely suggest you check it out. They also have a demo you can download as well. But this is just a great series. Brings back lots of fond memories. Just an awesome series. So this is Zenmart. I hope you enjoyed my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, and I'll be bringing videos to you every Wednesday and every Saturday. Please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and like me on Facebook. So I hope everyone's having a great summer, and I'll see you soon.